Welcome to the Packers offensive breakdown of the Colts game. They were able to squeak by with a 16-10 victory, a very efficient run game, and this breakdown is essentially going to look at the diverse schemes that they used on the ground and the game plan that LaFleur put together to end up beating the Colts. With Malik Willis, who was obviously Jordan Love's backup heading into this game, only with the team for 3 weeks, still able to manage the game and do quite well to bring the Packers a win. So let's get started. All right, first play here, we're going to see a simple guard and tight end counter. And this play was run about 3 to 4 times. For some reason, the footage was a little bit fuzzy on this first play, but it'll be all right. So we'll look at it from the end zone angle. That way you get to see the movement on the offensive line. But the game plan here was just to use some misdirection and give the Colts defense different looks. So here we're going to have the misdirection with Reed swinging around the back. Obviously, Willis is going to do essentially a 360 to hand off to Jacobs. But we're going to have some down blocks here. And then you're going to have the pullers that are going to come through and kick out. So you've got Jenkins and Kraft that are both going to pull out, and you're going to see this action. So Myers gets a good enough seal to give Jacobs some space, and then Kraft is able to work upfield, and it's a nice gain. So it's not really the most impressive run, but they ran this play multiple times to both sides of the field. So I figured I would start out with this, and it kind of sets up some of the plays that they're going to do a little bit later, because eventually they'll actually hand off to that receiver and they'll get some good yardage out of it. So they're just giving the defense different looks, so they have to be ready for it in the run game. And speaking of those different looks, this is going to be an outside zone essentially. So they're going to try to get off the tackle here, and Ryan had a much better game. So Sean Ryan, obviously in this competition with the rookie, Jordan Morgan, he played about 50 snaps to Morgan's 20 and had a significantly better game, and this is one of those plays. So I'll play for you. You got Jacobs getting the ball, Ryan leading the way, and it's an explosive run here. So if we take this back all the way to the start, he's got to get a reach block here. He's got to get on the inside shoulder and reach out. And then Tom is also going to double team, and then they pass it off. So then he's supposed to climb to the next level. I think he gives up a little bit early here because the handoff hasn't been made and he's already moving to the next level. So if number 90 there is a little bit more athletic, I think that play is stopped in the backfield. So I think Ryan gets away with one here, but he's able to move downfield and work to the second level, and that helps spring this run a little bit further. So he's able to move on, get to the safety, and he keeps running like it's Remember the Titans, and a nice explosive run. And of course, LaFleur is trying to make it easy on Malik Willis in the passing game. He was very conservative with his plays, so he's trying to make it easy. There you go. You've got that same motion from the play that we just watched first, right? And it's just going to be a simple play action, swing screen, and you've got Kraft that's out there as a lead blocker, right? And this is going to be significant. It freezes the backers, right? You can see the motion of the backers. They're all ready. You've got at least one that's flowing. He's got his eyes in the backfield. And then you've got one that's flat-footed. And by the time this swing gets out here, he's essentially going to be out of this play. So if we watch, Christian Watson gets a good seal there. Kraft gets a nice lead block. And again, you get a nice explosive play because they know you're going to be run heavy. So a little bit of play action is going to give you some bigger plays. And I think one of the reasons why they traded for Malik Willis is just for his mobility, right? And when you're a coach and you need to win games, you need to play to the strengths of your players. And here's an example of LaFleur calling a quarterback draw, something that he probably wouldn't do with Jordan Love. Jordan Love is sneakily athletic, but he would much rather be a pocket passer. But you can see this is a designed quarterback draw, right? He's moving his eyes, trying to influence the defense to one side of the field, right? You can see all the receivers out there, potential blockers for this swing screen. So there's, again, these backers that are influenced that direction. And we're just going to kind of sneak on the backside here. We're going to use our quarterback's athleticism to get some easy yards on the ground on 2nd and 15. So able to get up, get very, very close to a first down, make it a much more manageable position for the team. He's able to use his speed. Nice blocks by Dobbs out here, right? So if he's able to get by, Dobbs was working really, really well in the run game. Willis was 12 of 14 passing, so he was very efficient in the throws that he did have. And here we've got another one. Quick out route, very dangerous throw on a 3rd and 4, but he's able to sneak it by. Kenny Moore there. I think he's playing a little bit too deep here, and we benefit. If he's playing 1 yard closer, he's broke on the ball, and I think that's a pick 6. So if he doesn't take as much depth on this, but essentially you've got a stick combination here. You've got a stick route, you've got an out, you've got a fade. So it's just a stick concept, something that the Packers run very, very frequently, and a nice pass just over the fingertips of Kenny Moore for a touchdown. But this is something that I saw on his preseason film. Some of his better throws were on these out routes, which are tough throws. So there is a lot of potential there for Malik Willis to be a long-term backup. All right, and we know that Josh Jacobs had a huge game, but he was not free of mistakes. Here we're going to see that fumble, that very costly fumble. Could have led to his first touchdown with the Packers. But there are some good things to look at here. Ryan gets a nice kind of stall at the line, and there's going to be just enough space. So just looking at Josh Jacobs, number 8 here. All right, he is going to have some really good vision to even get close to the goal line. All right. So there, Kraft comes around, swings. So it's similar to the same run that we saw earlier, a little bit of a counter, and there's a little bit of a shimmy. Plants his foot, gets upfield, breaks the tackle, but then that second defender is what forces that ball out. So we just need a little bit more ball security from Jacobs. That's an easy touchdown if he's able to hold on to the ball. And of course, early on in the game, they're setting up all the screens. You've got some motion and orbit motion here, and you're giving this look as if we're throwing that screen, right? But this is a play design where they're trying to get some free release downfield to 2 different players who are going to be faking the block, right? And it's going to end up going to Wicks. And he's not able to come down with it because it's just good defense by the Colts in this situation. So we'll let this play out, get the little pump fake. So you've got the defenders that are drawn in. So this is just really well played by Moore. He recognizes that they have a 1 high safety. All right, so you've got this 1 high safety who is then going to carry with the deeper route, and then Moore has to play kind of the in-between. So he does a good job of recognizing this, changes, gets his hips around, and is able to break up the pass. So just really well played by Kenny Moore. Good play design by LaFleur, right? He did suck in the linebackers. It was just a great individual play by Kenny Moore. This next play was making the rounds on Twitter and the internet because this is the vomit play. Get to show it again there in slow motion. But you've got Josh Myers, your center, right in the middle here, just going to be vomiting on the ball right before the snap. He's not even phased, right? So we're going to play it, vomits, and then snaps right away. I've had to play some quarterback, and I can't imagine what that would be like, getting a ball that's just been doused in vomit And since they're hydrated, it's just all liquid. So it's like you're dumping a football in a puddle. But this was when Matt LaFleur was asked, why didn't he throw it on this down? Which you do have players that are open, right? So I think if he gets a ball that is not completely wet, Jaden Reed is wide open on this play. But I can completely understand why he doesn't even throw the check down to Musgrave here. But there are players that are open, and he does a good enough job just to scramble, get some yards, and even though it was a third down, get some field position for Whelan, who had a terrific game, which I'll show that in my defensive video, which is going to be coming out tomorrow. But Whelan had a great game, flipping the field, giving the Packers good field position for the entire game. And of course, on the end zone angle, you'll be able to see he gets the ball, feels it's entirely wet. He grabs his towel in the middle of the play and then sees the pressure and just has to get out. And the ball slips in his hands here. So when he rolls out, you can see the ball actually fully rotates in his hands. And he's got to dodge a tackler, get out. So the fact that he got positive yards on this play is actually pretty impressive. All right, next play is just a pin pull toss. So this is another run scheme that he was using. And this is essentially you've got your tackle that is going to pull, and you're going to have your tight end that is going to pin. All right, so you have your tackle. He's going to run out, and he's going to be a lead blocker. And then you've got your tackle that's just going to try to push them in. Right, so it's trying to encourage the defenders to actually take this inside angle because you are trying to get outside. Right, so that play design is just a different run scheme, and he's kind of showing everything that he's got. Right, so you get Watson, who misses a block here. He tries to stack him a little bit too early. He's not able to get hands on him. So that's going to kind of disrupt the play early on. But then you've got a linebacker that shoots in, makes the play, but it's still a good gain. Next play, Dobbs continues to be one of the most consistent receivers. And this is going to be that deep shot. So you essentially have a cover 3 look here. You got a 3 high. Actually, well, 1 high safety, but you've got the corners, right? So you're going to have the corner on both sides, and then you're going to have the safety. It's going to be a cover 3 look. So they're all going to drop deep and cover 1/3 of the field respectively. So a lot of times if you trust your deep threat receiver, which Dobbs is probably the most consistent deep ball catcher on the Packers at the moment. Watson, you would like him to be that guy, but he's not quite there yet. And you have a one-on-one shot here. You've got the middle high safety, so you take the one-on-one. Dobbs able to come back to the ball and essentially moss this DB. Gets a nice catch. So it's not something that was expected to come out and take these shots, but on a 3rd and 5, I kind of like that. I like the aggressive nature. He could have played it safe, right? Because underneath, you've got Jacobs and the backer, his ankles are already broken. So if you just dump it off here, let Jacobs work, right? Catches it on the run. He is got a lead blocker in Dobbs as well. So that could potentially be an even bigger play if Jacobs is able to shake the safety that's going to come down and try to make a play. So I like the shot. It was successful. If it didn't work, then I would probably bring it up in film. You know, hey, you've got this guy underneath. You can never go wrong with checking down. But good play by Dobbs in the end. We'll watch it from the end zone angle as well. The pass protection was great, so you can watch the O-line. Here you've got a blitz, right? You got how many different rushers? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rushers, right? So we have the tight end that's staying in on the other end. Kraft gives a little bit of a chip, buys some extra time, and Malik is able to take that deep shot. He's got a man in his face, completes it to Dobbs. So really well done on that play. All right, so you're going to see this counter again, which you're going to have your tight end counter and you're going to have a guard counter. and it's just a different motion. So instead of Reed starting, here and then running around, he's going to be motioning in front of the quarterback, right? So it's just giving them the same concept, but looking at it in a different way. And you're just going to see the vision here by Jacobs. So a little bit of a delay there because they want you to buy into that jet sweep, right? So he's trying to hold the edge off here, which he does. He stutters a little bit before Ryan kicks him out. So Ryan gets the kick out, and Kraft comes in with the lead block. And just look at the vision. Jacobs out of the corner of the eye. Wicks tries to get a little bit of a shove on that defender, but Jacobs noticed him. Quick little jump step upfield. And that's something that I noticed about Jacobs as well. He does a very good job of just staying north and south. So watch it from the end zone angle. And there you've got Wicks missing his assignment a little bit. Kenny Moore looking at the grass. A little bit hard to tackle when you're looking down at the ground. And just a simple jump step. Able to get through. Decent yardage on that. And the last play that we're going to look at is just another pass play by Willis. Again, saw this on film. He had some decent out routes in the preseason with Tennessee, so he's familiar with it, and that's a Packers concept. If you've got off coverage, right, you've got a cloud corner who's basically, 10 yards off the receiver, you might as well just take what you can get, take a free out route, because if he starts to step back here, he's already 10 yards off the receiver. If he takes, 3 yards back, then you can get an easy 10-yard out and get the first down, right? And that's what this play is essentially going to be. Wicks had a bounce back game, and he's able to get the catch. The corner bails even though he's 10 yards off. I'm not sure why he's bailing, to be honest. There was nobody threatening him, but Wicks able to get the completion, gets 2 feet down, full concentration, and a nice first down. So this video is obviously going to be a lot shorter. There wasn't a lot of offensive production other than, consistently running the ball well. So there's not too much to talk about. There were just varying run schemes. Malik Willis did his job. He was a game manager, and people asked him about being a game manager in his press conference. I thought his press conference was quite well done. He's confident. He's also humble. But if he has to start again next week against Tennessee, I think we still have a decent shot. As long as we can control the game, I think Tennessee will adapt and take away the run. So we're going to have to rely a little bit more on Willis's arm to beat Tennessee. So thank you guys for sticking around. And I hope you're back for the defensive breakdown against the Colts, which will be coming out tomorrow.